Hello, my name is Etta, and this is my channel off the top of my head. Today, as you can probably tell by the title of the video, I am going to be starting my first ever knitted, like top garment, sweater thing, and I've never done one before, primarily because my grandmother, or great-grandmother rather, made a lot of sweaters, did a lot of knitting, and so I happen to have almost all of those sweaters. So I don't really need a whole lot of sweaters, but I saw this pattern and I absolutely loved the look of this top. And so I got the pattern, which looks like this. And I didn't get the yarn that's recommended to go with the pattern, but that's because I got this at a craft kind of spring sale thing. So I got it in person and I happened to see this yarn in person and I absolutely fell in love with this color. It's got pink, dark pink, but it also has like some light pink, what's the word? Heathered through it. So I absolutely love that, and I've been wanting a pink sweater. So I didn't really know how much I would need, and so I bought 4 balls of this, and I went home and then I looked at trying to show this, the sizing chart. And I've decided, because I like my shirts to be on the bigger side, I've decided I'm going to do the largest size that's shown here. And I like garments to be looser, but before finally setting on that one, I was going back and forth between this second size and the larger size. And before settling on that, I did do a little gauge swatch as they recommended, and it came out realizing that this yarn that I had was a little on the smaller side, as opposed to what is recommended for the pattern. So the end result of the garment that I'm going to make, I haven't blocked this little, just forgotten what it's called, gauge swatch. I haven't blocked the gauge swatch, but I'm not going to bother to. I can already tell that in terms of the size of the garment, as I'm knitting, so how many rows I'm getting, it's going to be the right size, but how long it's going to be, because this top is knitted with, you start at the top and you have it all on the needle on there and then knit that way. So I know it's going to be wide enough, but I want it to be long enough, which is another reason why I'm going on more of the bigger side. So I originally bought just 4 balls of this yarn, and I was like, oh, I'm only going to need a couple more balls. And then I realized that this ball of yarn is, where does it say? Is 50-gram balls. And the ball recommended amount of balls of yarn for it is, for the size that I'm going for, is 5 balls of yarn, but 5 balls that are 100 grams. And so I was like, oh dear. But I purchased this at a local little store, and they have an online shop, thank goodness. And luckily, very luckily, I was able to purchase the remaining balls of yarn that I would need, and that was the exact amount of balls of yarn that they happened to have available. And so I was like, oh, thank goodness, I'm not going to have to worry about trying to find another place to get this yarn or decide that I'm going to have to mix it with some other kind of yarn and then have to fight with making a pattern or something. So I've got my 10 balls of yarn. This one's already a little unwound because I did the gauge swatch. Got my 10 balls of yarn, my pattern, and the size needle that this pattern recommends is a 4.5 millimeter or a US 7, and it's recommended knitting needle, and I don't happen to have a pair of knitting needles that size that aren't a circular pair of knitting needles. So I'm hoping I can manage on a circular pair of needles. We shall see. What I also need is a pair of cable needle, 2 stitch markers. I believe I have a cable needle. I will have to scrounge around in my knitting tools just to find one, I think. But I do believe I have that, and I definitely have stitch markers. And so I am going to start working away on this pattern on the back of the pattern. Okay, cast on 100 stitches. Let's do that. Okay, casted them on, and now work 3 rows and garter stitch. Got it. Okay, 1 row done, many more to go. I'm also pretty sure I cast it on a little bit too tight, but hopefully that's okay. And yeah. So I'm just working on finishing up the first little bit of the pattern, which is to do 3 rows in garter stitch, and I'm on the 3rd row. And to make sure, because I'm using circular needles as opposed to straight needles, I have put 2 bits of yarn at the end. Let me just adjust them. 2 bits of yarn that are different colors. So I have yellow and blue, and they're just scrap yarn from old projects. And so I know that's how I keep track of basically which, quote, needle I happen to be working on at the time. So it can make it easier for me to keep track of like what's the right side or the wrong side and all of that, because typically I would just have 1 bit of string on the needle, one of the needles that I'm working on, but since it's circular needles, that doesn't work. So I've got 2 different colors. I've written down what the colors mean, which is important because I guarantee you I will forget. Okay, so I have finished the first 3 rows that called to be in garter stitch, and this is what they look like so far. Currently just looks like a pink worm, but it will eventually shape up into a lovely shirt, though I do love the color of the yarn as it's shaping up. I don't know, is it focusing properly? But as you can see, it's very beautiful. And yeah, I'm very happy with the yarn color, the yarn choice, and it's super soft. I don't know if I actually read out what it was at the beginning, but it is this Volant Merino Boom Wool, like that, and it is a 55% new wool, 45% cotton blend, and it's, I don't think it has different languages on it. It's made in Italy. So, fancy yarn. And it is the shade, I don't know if it says the shade. I can't tell what the shade is and whether it's like the numbers mean something. I can't figure that out. But this is the yarn. Very soft, very lovely. Love the color. Okay, now since I've done the first 3 rows, it's now on to doing the sleeve rows. So, calls for using short row shaping, which I have never done before. But I think I know what I need to do. I have this handy dandy vintage knitting and crocheting for beginners thing that I am going to quickly look to see if what I think I'm supposed to do is what I'm supposed to do. So that didn't really help me very well. But I think, okay, knit 51 stitches. That I most certainly can do. $48, $49, $50, $51. Okay. 51, wrap next stitch. Wrap next stitch. Okay, I've got a cup of tea and my knitting, and I am on the last row that's doing the sleeves of the back. So the last sleeve row that is done in short row shaping. And there are a couple points that I'm not entirely sure if I did the short row shaping correctly and if I messed up in one of them, but I'm gonna finish it and then kind of have a look and see what I think. Here we are. Last row. Where's my writing implement? Last row. Sleeve row 17. Knit all across. Hopefully, as I'm knitting, I can manage to finish this row before my cat decides that yarn is in fact fun to play with. Because that might happen. We shall see. What are you doing? Really? That's awful. Is that a good box to rub your face on? Yeah, okay. Oh, big yawn. So, I'm having some difficulty finishing this row as my cat is... Ella. No, no. No. Come on. This is nice yarn. We don't eat the nice yarn. I'm close to finishing the row. Let me finish the row in peace. No, no inhaling the yarn. So I finished that last row of the short row shaping for the sleeve. As you can tell, my lap has been claimed by a cat who keeps trying to eat the yarn. So I think I'm gonna have to pack away the knitting for right now. And, okay. That's all for this video. I have been claimed by pets, and I think they are asking to be paid attention to. So I'm going to drink my tea, cuddle some pets, and I will see you in my next video as I continue in the process of making my first knit top, or really knit garment of any kind. But thank you for watching. Please like and comment, subscribe, do all those things. It very much is super, super appreciated. Thank you. Bye.